Hello everybody and welcome back to the Cajun DM. On this segment, we're going to scroll through Reddit and see if we can dole out some of that good old Cajun advice. Start calling these segments Cajun advice. If you want to see more, I'll try and punch out one a week, so just stick with us. DM complains we don't have painted minis. I like our DM. He's a good friend, but something he said rubbed me the wrong way. I asked him if he had any questions, comments, or concerns after our last game, and he didn't have anything negative except that it was about time for us to get painted miniatures because he can't tell us apart. He said he's done his part and put it in the money buying all sorts of NPCs, creatures, miniatures, etc. And we should show how serious we are by putting money into the game as well. I appreciate those things. They're nice additions, but no one ever asked him or demanded that he get those things. I would be fine playing without minis or using dice as tokens. We all have basic unpainted minis that are okay enough approximations for what we play. I mean, the Dragonborn is using a lizard folk he found, and I settled for a Tiefling Warlock because I was unable to find a Tiefling Cleric. I bought a pack of 2, so the bard uses the spare one. One's using a spell and the other's holding a sword. I feel like you can easily tell them apart if you just look at them for a second. I'd love to get a better painted representation sometime, but I don't have the money to spare it for it at the moment. I feel like my contribution to the table otherwise has been neglected. Always host, provide snacks. Me and the bard bought spell cards for everyone to use, as well as a bunch of dice free to anyone. Is he right? Do I need to show my commitment to the table by buying a new mini? Am I overreacting? What should I say? I almost don't feel like playing anymore for a while after this. Are you overreacting? No, not even a little bit. Honestly, the DM walked into this with a completely different set of expectations than you did. You walked in with a well-built character sheet, I assume, and ready to roleplay your character, expecting that is all you needed to provide in order to play this game. You went above and beyond by offering a host, providing snacks, the spell cards, the free dice for the table. Those things aren't expectations of a player, nor are they of a DM. Honestly, everybody should at some point host in the party. Everybody should bring snacks if snacks are going to be something that's going to be at the table. I know people that don't allow snacks at their table. And everybody should be responsible for having their own dice. You're here to play a game with dice, bring your dice. But no, I don't think you're overreacting at all. Miniatures are not cheap, people. Painted miniatures that are specific to your character, less so. Demanding that your characters provide these miniatures well into a game, well into a campaign, is outrageous. If you want your characters to have those representations, it's a conversation that you need to have before the character ever sits down at the table. And this is my advice to anybody who wants to DM a game, to any player that wants to join a game, especially if it's with people you don't know, but you know what, even if it's people you do know. Have the talk about expectations. What are you expected to provide? What do you want to see in a game? What do you want to see from players, DMs? If you're expecting to run a role-play heavy game, make sure you talk to your players about that. Or a combat heavy game, your player needs to know what those expectations are and make sure that they're willing to partake in that same kind of gameplay. The same goes when bringing things to the table. If you're asking someone to play a game that they've never played before, you cannot expect them to bring all the dice to the table on their first, second, maybe even third session. This would be a time where you would want free dice for the table. But miniatures is well beyond. In fact, my recommendation would be to talk with your DM and let them know, look, like I said, times are a little rough at the moment. You feel like you've contributed and you didn't walk into this expecting to have to contribute the amount of money that a miniature costs, especially a custom-made miniature. And like I said, it sounds like y'all done y'all part. Y'all went out and y'all bought some kind of representation. Y'all host, y'all spell cards. That's a big one. You know, personally, you walked to the table and you had a well-built character. I'm proud of you. Not the asshole in my opinion. There is an edit. Let's see what the edit says. Thanks for all the input. A lot of you guys gave solid advice. Some helped me see things from a different perspective. I'm sure it'll be okay. I probably overreacted because life is kind of rough at the moment. I'm not holding a grudge or anything, and happy to move forward with a better understanding of each other once we talk it out. I did end up painting my mini. Found some old acrylic paint in the garage from a few years ago. Forgot about them until I made the post. Followed some basic guides and ended up with something I didn't completely hate. It's a work in progress, but here it is. There's a link to the picture. Be painting the bards today too, so that's good. It does sound like you did, you know, you're continuing to do your part. Look, DMs, players, remember that this is a game of the imagination. You do not need any specific things to run the game. You don't need a fantastic table with the sound set up and the lights. Those are great. We all dream of it. A lot of us do. Some of us have that, but they're not necessary to play the game. What is necessary to play the game? An imagination. You can play this entire game with your imagination. You can rock, paper, scissors to roll dice, to take place of roll dice. You can flip a coin. There are other ways to do this other than material means. This entire game can be played without a single object involved. So, that being said, talk with your DMs, set your boundaries, explain each other's expectations, and hope it all works out for you.